is a special Cairo 7 Seafair presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the curtains have opened here in one of Mother Nature's most beautiful theaters, and you're about to feast your eyes and ears to an extravagant show. Seattle gathers here today for the 56th time, celebrating the highlight of another summer in the great Northwest. And for 21 years, Cairo 7 has been proud to bring you this amazing show. The beautiful blue waters of Lake Washington are the stage. Mount Rainier looks down approvingly as we, the citizens of this, the high-tech capital of the world, display that daring, fun-loving spirit that makes our area so special. Over the next 7 hours, you'll witness the annual race of the world's fastest boats. You'll see the world's greatest pilots and powerful fighter jets as they streak across the skies and across your screens. You'll see amazing stunt airplanes. You're about to experience a never-ending panorama of excitement. And as we speak, thousands continue to flock into this grand and scenic outdoor theater. Our cameras and broadcast team are ready to again present the longest live local television show in America, starring over a dozen 200-mile-an-hour unlimited hydroplanes, starring the Blue Angels. It's all coming to you right now as Cairo 7 presents the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair.
The Hydros have been quiet all year, but now they're ready to rumble. It's a Seattle summertime tradition. All the thrills and chills.
Here they come. It's going to be close.
The speed and excitement.
Look at that boat race. Oh,
It's time for the 2006 Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. And it starts right now. The 2006 Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by your Northwest Chevy dealers, Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Seafair, and by Southwest Airlines, the official airlines of Seafair.
The shores of Lake Washington on a warm summer morning provide the background. The stage is set on a watery amphitheater that has seen a host of champions for more than half a century. This is one of the biggest events in all of sports, and you have a front row seat for the entire day of fun and excitement. And hello again, everyone, from Stan Sayers Pits on the shores of Lake Washington. Steve Rabel reporting. Welcome to Cairo 7's day-long continuing coverage of the Chevrolet Cup here at Seafair. And let us begin with a bit of an apology. We had a massive power hit down here in Stan Sayers Pits, and literally all the power was out, not only to our television, but to the PA system here. We had to get all that back up and get all our computers going before we could come back on the air. So we apologize for being a couple of minutes late, but we still will have a full day of racing. And join us. 300,000 of our friends are down here for the biggest garden party in all of the country. Again, thanks for joining us today and joining me up here in the pits to talk about the races and to serve as our color commentator as he has for so many years, hydroplane racing legend and Motorsports Hall of Fame member Chip Hanauer. And Chip, I hope the downtime here because of the electrical problem isn't an omen of things to come today.
No, it's just the opposite. I got good news for you. You know, I was a boat racer for 150 years, and when everything looked perfect on race morning, everything went to heck. When things looked the darkest, that's when they ran really well. So everything's going to be just fine.
And as the races go, what do you think about the competition? You have the boat to beat the Elam boat. There are a lot of other pretty good teams.
Well, a really interesting thing has happened. When Budweiser left, they had a lot of great equipment. They had a lot of great people. That equipment and that people has been spread amongst a bunch of new teams with some new, young, aggressive drivers. It's going to be great.
Just one of the storylines we'll be following today. That coming up, we have boat racing to boot and a lot of air show for you, so stand by. More from Stan Sayers Pits as the Chevrolet Cup from Seafair is just getting started.
Hey, Alpine, get up. Seafair.
Oh, what? Oh, man. Good morning. Chris Alpine here with the Mike's Hard Lemonade Fan Cam. Sunday, Seafair, you know exactly where we are. Down at the races. Couldn't be a better day. This year, I thought I'd be smart. Get down here a little early so I don't have to deal with all the congested traffic in the morning. So I came down late last night. But apparently, at the Mike's Party House, there's a rule that if you're not here by 2 a.m., you don't get to come in. You got to sleep outside. So here I am. Mike's Hard Lemonade. Cold, hard, refreshing. Kind of sounds like the way I slept last night.
And again, you're looking live. The log boom is set up. The finger piers are here at Stan Sayers Pits, and we're set for some racing in just a couple of minutes. Again, because of the power surge down here that knocked everything out for a time, we are a little bit behind time. So we want to fill you in on what we have for you today. Lots of racing, certainly, in the air show. We will be getting and introduce you to, along the way, Mike Fitzsimmons and Pat O'Day, who are at the start-finish tower, which is to my left down here, just north on Lake Washington Boulevard. Bill Rocky, Guard Swanson from our sports department are down in the pits. They'll be bringing you all the stories from the drivers and the boat camps today. And of course, Chip Hanauer and I will be up here to kind of organize it all and to tell you about the air show. The Great Blue Angels performance is coming up later this afternoon as well. So lots to get in, lots of racing to do. Racing that happened yesterday that we will be bringing you today in its entirety on videotape. So stand by. A full day here, the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. The fans are set. The boats are about to get wet, and you are ready at home for a day of action. And we've got it for you right here on KIRO 7. Don't go away. It's time to do some unlimited hydroplane racing, Heat 1A. And how about a throwback to the old days? The only piston-powered boat in the field. How will it do? Thierret, the Gold Cup champ, the winner here a year ago. Can he do it again? And finally, J. Michael Kelly is going to be trailing, but at least he's got a boat on the water after a week ago. Those are your headlines. This is Heat 1A.
Heat 1A of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, the official airlines of Seafair, and is presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Drivers want at GrahamTrucking.com.
And the boats are making their way to the course. Here is your lineup for Heat 1A. The Acura of Seattle, U3. The FormulaBoats.com 2. There are two of those. Keep those straight today. Miss Car Pros, the Plumbing Joint, and Miss Beacon Plumbing. Todd Haas American Dream, and the trailer, the Acura of Bellevue. Taking a look out to the course, you see the boats are starting to get out there, warm themselves up a little bit on the cold waters of Lake Washington, but not choppy at all. A beautiful day for racing. Let's take a look at the drivers. With the only piston power in the field, the Acura of Seattle and Jimmy King. Ed Cooper has a fast hull here, Mike.
He surely has, and Jimmy has been pushing it very well, driving this boat as well as anybody ever has. This boat is an outside threat. The question is whether that great big V12 can run with the turbines on this short course.
Bill Rocky is in the pits. Does Jimmy King think he has a chance out here, Bill?
You bet he does, Steve. He actually was neck and neck with Dave Bellwalk in the final last week until a battery failed. Yesterday, they went 150. This morning, they found a couple more miles an hour and turned a lap at 152.
They will need all they can get. Mike Allen is in the Formula.com 2 boat, and he is a rookie, Chip.
He's a rookie, first time to Seattle, but that boat should know its way around this race course all by itself because it's an old Budweiser hull.
This is an interesting story here. Chris Bertram is a young guy. Mike and Laurie Jones are back in racing. They put it together for just the Tri-Cities and Seattle runs.
Got this rig together to bring her back out again on Lake Washington. First time we've seen them in a couple of years. Chris Bertram is a young driver with a lot of promise, and he's got a lot of boat with a lot of speed.
We talked about J. Michael Kelly in the Acura of Bellevue being the trailer boat. Chip, he's lucky he's got a boat on the water at all.
Bad accident last week in Tri-Cities, but J. Michael Kelly might be the most gifted driver out here today.
One of the two plumbing boats that we have in Kevin Aylesworth at the controls. The first year for this team using Dr. Ken Muscatel's boat from a year ago.
And Kevin is stepping up to Unlimited from the Unlimited Lights. He was a hard threat in that class, and he is living out his dream as an Unlimited hydroplane driver.
Here's the other of our plumbing entries, the Beacon Plumbing boat, Jean Thierret. And Chip, all we could do was talk about him in glowing terms a year ago.
He's had a really rough year this year. Lots of missed buoys, or a lot of hit buoys, a lot of mistakes, but he had one great heat, and it happened to be the final heat of the Gold Cup.
Bill Rocky, he likes this course here in Seattle, doesn't he?
You bet he does, Steve. I just talked to him, and he really wants to win here again. He crashed in Evansville, and they've been trying to get the boat back to normal. One of the crew members told me it doesn't look as good, but it is a little faster right now.
Virtually no wind on the course as Todd Haas, the American Dream boat with Greg Hopp. This is Fred Leland's team, Mike.
This is probably the fastest of Leland's fleet out here. Greg Hopp has had some problems with the boat. Hasn't had a whole lot of time in it this year, but he's a guy who knows how to move his way around this Lake Washington race course, so look for him to come on strong.
Very little wind today as we are approaching 1 minute to go as they now slow down to score up. 77 degrees warming up out here. And Pat O'Day, what a wonderful way to start. Isn't it great to have the Unlimiteds back on the water again?
Oh, it is. And, you know, we've got Jimmy King in the Acura of Seattle and J. Michael Kelly in the Acura of Bellevue, Kevin Aylesworth in the plumbing joint, and Jean Thioret in the Beacon plumbing. So we're going to find out in Heat 1A which Acura dealer is going to give us the best deal and which plumber will be the quickest.
When you want to call, that's for sure. Right now, nobody very quick as they're going up to the upper part of the course with 35 seconds. And Chip, they're always pushing the early side on this.
This looks like an ugly start to me, Mike. The boat on the inside there, I think that's Mike Allen, who's really early. You got boats spread all over the race course. They ought to be all lined up. This is pretty ugly.
They're way off on power. Time is still ticking down. Their run to the start-finish line from the north turn on this race course is a short run. And these guys are just barely on plane to get there. On the inside, it's going to be the Acura of Seattle, Jimmy King, but will he be able to throttle up fast enough to make a go of it? Thioret's coming along strong. Is he going to make it in time? Looks like he does. And that was a nice start for Thioret.
Beautiful start. It doesn't get any better than that.
Down into the first corner now. Everybody trying to get up to speed. Lots of boats going through that lower corner, but Thioret on the outside, getting a perfect start, gets himself out of trouble right away. And looks like somebody might have gotten pushed to the inside of the course.
John Thioret was kind of cinching it up on everybody, and that stacked everybody up on the inside. He was on the verge of getting a call for that. Look at this race, Mike. Somebody's coming up on the inside. I think it's Mike Allen.
That is Mike Allen. He's pushing hard in the FormulaBoats.com as they go into the upper turn for the first time of 3 around here at Pat O'Day. He is slamming that corner.
Absolutely. What a great run so far. And coming off the exit buoy is John Thioret. Completing lap 1, he's got about a 175-foot lead over the Formula boat.
And the Formula boat is not going to let go of them. They're coming on strong in third place. It's Acura of Seattle, Jimmy King, and the Todd Haas American Dream in fourth place out of the lower corner again, Chip. And Sean Thioret's got everything he can possibly be doing to try to keep this Formula boat from overtaking him.
He does, and what he's got to remember is he's got to leave at least 5 boat lengths before he can come across here. You know, you can't cut somebody off. You've got to give him 5 boat lengths, and he doesn't have that yet.
He does not, and the Formula boat, Mike Allen's going to push that rookie. He's going to try to come in a little bit harder this time, but it looks as though he has slipped to the outside now, and that's the kiss of death. He will not be able to overtake him. At this point, Thioret now knows he owns this. If he can just keep it running, he comes down, gets the checkered flag at the end of lap number 2 for the Beacon Plumbing. Billy Shoemaker's yellow U-37, the historic number of the old Miss Seattle, Pat.
Thioret is flying that boat, and Billy Shoemaker's on his way to the trailer for some blood pressure medicine.
No doubt about it. Through the corner now comes the FormulaBoats.com to Mike Allen, the rookie, giving a good account of himself. And Chip, I like the way he drives. Push up, let him know you're there, but this is a preliminary heat. Don't do anything stupid.
He did, and I wouldn't be surprised if his radio man came on the radio and said, you know, just back out of it. Let's take the second. Let's take those points and move towards the final. John Thioret has had a lot of problems getting through these preliminary heats without hitting buoys or jumping guns, but this one, it looks like he's clean.
The French-Canadian slowing down through the corner, going to give himself a nice wide berth. And here he comes down to take the checkered flag, and Heat 1A of the Chevrolet Cup belongs to Jean Thioret in the U-37.
That was a beautiful start. He hit that right on the button.
Second place overall down to the start-finish line is the FormulaBoats.com too. Mike Allen, the rookie. The winner at Valley Field, by the way, as a rookie, so he's already felt the checkered flag a couple of times. The other red boat, that's one right there. And that, of course, the Acura of Seattle, Jimmy King in that Allison-powered boat. He was still in the hunt, but not quite fast enough to wind it up with these other guys into that first corner.
Look at this race coming in 4/5. It's going to be real close.
And it's going to be the 13 boat, the Acura Bellevue with J. Michael Kelly. That's got to feel good to finish a heat after he went upside down and doggone near came down on top of the Old Boy Alberto over in Tri-Cities just a week ago.
Well, it looks like he got a 4th place finish, and that's great when you consider that he was the trailer boat, meaning he had to let everybody else start ahead of him. But the other boats were up there so early that for a trailer boat, that's the best case scenario. You know, Mike, we're going to have a real problem, I think, with these formula boats when they both get in the same heat. I just don't know how we're going to be able to tell these formula boats apart. They both are that old Budweiser red, and I just don't know how we're going to tell them apart.
One of them has the long snout the cowling, and the other one does not. Now, if they take that cowling off him, we're going to have a problem.
Did you say I had a long snout?
No, I was referring to the red boat.
Okay.
Chip, the U5.
Chip, now Chip, never mind.
The U5 has that saltwater snout that sticks way out over the cockpit, and that's how you can spot Jeff Bernard and differentiate him from Mike Allen.
Because those two boats look exactly the same, and I tell you, I'm really excited to see Jeff Bernard come, because remember he had that great provisional heat last year. Well, let's see what he can do in a real piece of equipment.
And so there's the equipment, the Miss Beacon Plumbing, and it did the job for John Theoret in Heat 1A. Wins it. FormulaBoats.com 2 is second. Acura of Seattle, followed by Todd Haas American Dream, Acura of Bellevue, the Plumbing Joint, and Miss Car Pros bringing up the rear of Heat 1A. To the award stage now, and Seafair's Dan Mortel.
Thank you. Welcome to the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair Award Stage. Here to present the award for Heat 1A is Rob Graham.
Thank you. Hey, this guy is just one awesome driver. It is a Canadian, John Theoret, right? I hope I did that right. But he's just one heck of a driver. We're sure glad he's here.
Coming all the way from Salinas, California.
Well, folks, this is a real nice way to start off the weekend, you know, for the Beacon Plumbing boat. Thank God for the first win, first heat. And we're really excited of this win on Saturday, and it's really nice to be here. Thank you.
That John Theoret. Heat 1A in the books from yesterday. When we come back, Heat 1B, you're watching live Cairo 7 coverage of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair.
Heat 1A of the Chevy Cup at Seafair has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines, the official airlines of Seafair.
Heat 1B. Let's take a look at the storylines we'll be following in this race. We've got last week's winner in the Tri-Cities, the Elam boat, clearly the class of the field. Can they do it today? The new driver in an old boat. It's the old Budweiser, Jeff Bernard at the controls, and your points leader, the man who stays out of trouble and just seems to score points, Steve David. All part of Heat 1B.
Heat 1B of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is presented for Seafair by KeyBank, proud sponsor of the KeyBank Air Show.
And taking a look now at your draw for Heat 1B, the Elam Plus, the U1 boat, Graham Trucking, FormulaBoats.com, that's the #1 boat. Oh boy, Alberto. Todd Haas presents Fairweather Masonry and the Miss Lake Ridge Paving, both the U99. A little under 4 minutes to go before we go racing here in 1B, and the boats, as you can see, are just all over the place here at Lake Washington, the pleasure craft, that is, while the hydroplanes are getting set to score up. Let's talk about the drivers. And at the top of the list is the guy, the winningest active driver, at least in unlimited hydroplane racing, Dave Villwock in the Elam, and simply, Michael, he is the boat to beat.
Absolutely the boat to beat, and interesting, he may have telegraphed his early strategy by running timing starts out in the 6th lane today, which is the possibility that he wants to stay out of trouble. Everybody else is going to try to goad him into a boat race.
Bill Rocky, you know Dave Villwock as well as anybody. He loves to win in Seattle.
That's right, Steve. And last year he didn't, and he hasn't forgotten it. Nobody out here wants to win this more than he does.
Dr. Ken Muscatel is in the Graham Trucking boat, the 2.25. And I always love saying this at least once every year, Chip, the world's fastest forensic psychologist.
It doesn't matter whether you need psychoanalysis or a boat driven 200 miles an hour. The doctor is in.
Here's that other Formula boat, the Formula.com #1, Jeff Bernard. He took over Mike when Mike Webber decided to retire.
That's exactly right, and he steps up into one powerful racing boat, and I think that this young kid has got the stuff.
The Oh Boy Alberto, Steve David, and as we said, Chip, he just tries to stay out of trouble, but he is the defending points champion.
He doesn't win a lot of races, but he doesn't go pointless in any races either. He just keeps racking up points, and right now he's leading the driver standings.
Taking a look at the Todd Haas and the Fairweather Masonry, J.W. Myers at the controls. This guy qualified at over 150 miles an hour.
This is a veteran whom I think is one of the best thinking drivers out there. Look for him to cause some trouble.
And finally, the Lake Ridge paving boat, and quite a story here, Chip, with Terry Troxel recovering from a mild stroke the day after Christmas.
Yeah, this is an amazing story, and Terry is still having problems with his speech of all things, but it doesn't seem to affect the way he drives the boat.
Bill Rocky, you've been down in that pits today, Lake Ridge Paving. How's Terry Troxel doing?
He got into the boat with a big smile on his face. I just talked to one of his crew members. He said he's ready to go. He's excited to go, and we'll see how he does.
It may be a lot like riding a bike. You just don't fall off once you learn how to do it. A minute and a half before we're racing. The course is calm. The weather, again, continues to be just fabulous. And Pat O'Day, more good boat racing coming up in a couple of very fast boats.
Yes, and with the aerodynamic improvements and the technological improvements, as you look at the Elam, you are probably looking at the finest unlimited hydroplane ever built, and driven by one of the great drivers of all time, Dave Villwock. He's the guy to beat in this heat.
There's a couple of guys out there who know that too, Patrick, and they're going to hang with him. Both Steve David and JW. There you see the three of them. They're going to try to keep the Elam in their mirrors. They're trying to work with him. It looks as though Villwock is going to get lane number one. The other guys are going to try to stay with him, and I'm not quite sure he's going to get number one. JW has slipped inside and is trying to see if he can't pick that lane off.
Yeah, just behind the Elam boat, which is the bright orange boat, there's a guy trying to get his nose up inside there, but I don't think Dave's going to let him in there.
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like JW is slipping back just a little bit. So it will be the Elam in lane number one. It looks like it's going to be the Oh Boy Alberto in the two-lane. Myers has decided to go out to three, it looks like. So that's where they'll try to score up here. Again, we're a little early on the upper side, Chip.
Yeah, you know, and it's pretty hard to beat the Elam boat when he's got the inside lane. But again, this is a preliminary heat. No need to push it too hard.
Troxel very wide on the outside. Going to make a start from the extreme outside. We're 8 seconds away from the start as we tick things down. You can see him coming at us. He may be a little early.
Looks like Alberto.
We got a start. It looks like it's legal. It looks like Steve David was the first guy across the line. He is in the center lower portion of your screen. An excellent start for the Oh Boy Alberto through the first quarter they go. JW right in there with him. JW Myers, the yellow boat. The Elam on the inside, pinching just a little bit, but there's boat speed to come down this back chute. Let's see if they've got it. It looks like JW Myers is going to pull out front now from the two-lane. What a great boat race we've got for 1, 2, 3, and 4 down there, Patrick.
It's a dandy, and now J.W. Myers has that rooster tail lead over the Elam. He closed the door on him, and he did so right now. Look at him just kiss that exit buoy. Coming down to complete lap number one.
Coming off that corner, some great driving by J.W. Myers. I told you this guy would be a troublemaker, and boy, isn't he. Uh-oh, bad news for the Elam. It looks like that Dave Villwock has fallen out of the race.
You know, and I don't know if that was a mechanical or maybe somebody got in his way and got him wet, but that makes it really tough to not get not get points in the heat to make it to the final. But remember, he flipped the boat in the first heat last week and came back and won the final.
Down the back chute, J.W. Myers is your leader, staying out of trouble out there. Steve David just outside of him on that reverse shot as you're looking across the Lake Washington racecourse, this Ted Jones racecourse. There's your leader, the bright yellow boat, J.W. Myers.
Look at that on the outside. Look at Steve David come on the outside, Mike.
Great dueling deck on deck through the upper corner. They get around the Elam.
Whoa,
they were very close. Very close.
The Elam was trying to come back onto the race course, and J.W. Myers just got by his bow. There couldn't have been 2 feet there.
They are neck and neck at the end of lap 2, side by side.
Down into the lower corner one more time, and it's J.W. Myers who's got everything he could possibly imagine coming from that Oh Boy Alberto, and they are pushing a whole lot of water out there at this time. Dave Villwock has gotten restarted and is becoming a factor down there in that lower corner as the other boats try to get around him. JW up the back chute. Steve David is working him. He has a little more acceleration, and he zips right on by him.
I tell you, to go around a boat on the outside, you have to have far superior performance because that boat on the inside got a much shorter distance coming down to the wire.
This is going to be a drag race. This is going to be beautiful. Through the middle portion of that upper turn, J.W. Myers on the inside. It is the Old Boy Alberta with Stephen David on the outside, and they are going to see who has the fastest boat now. It looks like J.W. is going to hang on and win it by a boat length. At the end of lap number 3, it is J.W. Myers across the line first.
He got a better turn. You got a better last turn there, and that's what made the difference.
Now the question, of course, is what happened to the Elam, and is anybody in trouble over it?
Jeff Bernard finishes 3. You know, and Terry Troxel back from a stroke and racing again finishes number 4.
Mike, it tells me that he might have gotten wet because if it was a mechanical failure, it wouldn't have magically fixed itself and him allowed to come back on the race course. So I have a feeling he got wet.
And I think number 5 is going to be Graham Trucking with Ken Muscatel.
And he gets the checkered flag.
Boy, I'm sorry we weren't able to see what happened to Dave Villwock. He got a bad start. He was late at the start and was coming up from behind people, and that's really when you can get wet.
And if memory serves me correctly, gentlemen, with the exception of the time that Dave actually turns the boat over and still wins, he was winning. He won every heat that he had participated in this year until this time. And Chip, you said earlier on in the day, there's always seems to be something, especially here in Seattle, that comes up to bite Dave Villwock.
Yeah, this is on the other hand, he's had more success here than almost any other driver except the greatest, Bill Munsey. And if he wins here on Sunday, he's going to tie Bill Munsey for the all-time winningest driver here in Seattle.
Bill Rocky continues on in the pits for us. Bill, take it away.
With Matt Gregory's telling J-Dub where to go here. Matt, pretty good win, huh?
That was a great win. J-Dub, there you go, cut it. Hang on one sec, guys.
Matt's a little busy. He's trying to get J-Dub into the right dock here.
That beat J.W. Myers, of course. The Todd Haas Presents Fairweather Masonry boat. Our winner. And still coming around as these boats wind down. We're still going to be watching for the Elam as well. But there is your winner. And a great race driven by J.W. Myers.
J.W. Myers grew up racing outboards right here in Seattle, the Seattle Outboard Association, where Billy Schumacher came from, I came from, and this is a big day for him to win here in Seattle.
Big victory for J.W. Myers, and Dave Villwock is returning back to the pit area, and he may have something to say when he gets in as to what perhaps it is that he experienced in this heat.
Listen to this. The lap, the race speed average, 155.714 miles an hour.
That is impressive. When you think of that Dave Villwock, I believe, qualified at 157, for J.W. Myers to race at 155 is remarkable.
Speaking of J.W., let's head back down to the pits. Bill Rocky's got your winner.
Hey, J.W. Myers, what a win for you. Great way to start.
Yeah, I was really worried about Dave. He's got a fast race boat, and, they've done a great job all year to get the Todd Haas guys up front here and doing well. To put a heat win together was great.
Really helps to win the first one, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the problem is the 4 o'clock show tomorrow.
All right, J.W. Myers, the winner of this heat, guys.
But first things first, let's get to some awards here. Here are the official results now, Heat 1B. And J.W. Myers wins it in the Todd Haas Presents Fairweather Masonry. Steve David in the Oh Boy Alberto. But look all the way down at the bottom. That's the stunner. Dave Villwock finishes in last place in the Miss Elam Plus here in Heat 1B. Back to the award ceremony and Seafair's Dan Mortel.
Thank you. Welcome back to the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair Award Stage. Here to present the award for Heat 1B from KeyBank, Jim Peoples.
Hi, I'm Jim Peoples. On behalf of KeyBank, I'm very pleased to be able to present J.W. Myers and the Todd Haas Fairweather Masonry boat, the trophy for Heat 1B. Thanks, J.W. We even got to
And you're looking live here on this Sunday morning at the G-Boats circling the course here at Stan Sayers Pits. An exhibition, again, in preview of the racing yet to come. We've got live racing all day for you here on Lake Washington. The G-Boats are making some noise, and we've got more unlimited action. You saw the heats from yesterday. When we come back, live racing, unlimited hydroplanes on Lake Washington. And once again, good morning, everybody. The G-Boats just finishing their exhibition out here on Lake Washington. They go about 140 miles an hour. And as Chip Hanauer was telling me, they are the look of things to come in unlimited hydroplane racing. So we'll look for more of these boats, and maybe not exhibitions, but actually races in the not-too-distant future. One of the men who would like to see these boats race for real, to get that thunderboat sound back into the business, is our play-by-play man, the best in the business, Mike Fitzsimmons at the start-finish line. And Mike, give us your sense of the day, starting with the course conditions.
Well, this Lake Washington Ted Jones race course is actually as calm and as soft as I've seen it in a long, long time. That doesn't mean necessarily that it's safe. This is a course for over 56 years. As we all know, it has mood swings, and at any time can deliver some hard bangs to race boats not expecting it. Drivers very often have decided that everything was okay when it really wasn't. In the course of the day, we're going to change the dimension of the race course just a little bit here. What will happen is more boats will join the log boom. We're going to have a couple of wind shifts today, according to the Weather Service, and for a while we'll see some south wind, maybe even a northwest wind, and it may not be particularly strong, but as this comes to us, the effect that it has, the dynamic that it has on our race course is quite dramatic. It can change things just in a moment's notice. I watched the G-boats run out there. The churn of all those race boats out there as well will have an effect on this race course. And so the question becomes, what track do you get on Lake Washington today? And the answer is, wait a minute.
All right, a pretty good answer, too. Let's find out what the drivers are thinking down there in the pits. First to Cairo 7 Sports Director Gard Swanson, who is standing by. What boats are you covering today, Gard?
Well, I got all the Formula boats. Of course, those are the red ones, the former Miss Bud boats. I have the Miss Beacon Plumbing, the defending champ, as you mentioned earlier off the top of the show, Steve, and also this boat right here. You got to love this boat, and you got to love the crews that are surrounding the boats today, because the Acura of Bellevue have had all kinds of trouble this morning. They broke a bull nose last week in Tri-Cities, and then on the first test run today, they broke it again, and they've been working feverishly for the last couple of hours to get this boat in the water. They've had electrical problems. They had the crane break, but look, the boat's in the water, ready to go.
Say what you will about these crews, but they are tough, and they work extra, extra hard, especially on race day. Bill Rocky also in the pits. What are the stories you're looking at, Bill?
Steve, there's a lot of confidence over on this side of the pits. Over here, I've got Jimmy King in the Acura of Seattle and the piston boat. They think they can win this thing. And just seconds ago, J.W. Myers came out, and instead of just walking in the boat, he high-fived every one of his crew members. They've got some confidence over here, and they think they can win this thing, too.
Confidence is strong. A great run from J.W. and his team yesterday. Let's see what they can do as we get set to go racing again, this time live here on Sunday morning. And if you're just joining us, have another bagel. Fill up that coffee cup. Sit tight. Join us out here if you like. Watch on TV if you will. It is the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair, and we've got live racing coming your way. Unlimited lights, Heat 2A and 2B in just a couple of minutes.
And now, a driver profile brought to you by Papa Murphy's.
When the 2005 season had ended, Dave Villwock had won 2 races and helped the Elstrom team to win its first ever national championship. A boat racer since the age of 16, he now has 52 career victories, including 5 Gold Cups. During his racing career, Villwock has driven some of the best equipment, including Pico American Dream, Miss Budweiser, and now the U1. Elstrom Elam Unlimited Hydroplane.
We're back to live racing today, Heat 2A, and here are some of the stories we're looking at. J.W. Myers won yesterday. Can he make it 2 heats in a row? How about piston power? We've got that for you, a throwback to the old days. And we've got one driver who's doing double duty today. The Unlimited Lights and the Unlimiteds. He is one busy camper. That's Heat 2A.
Heat 2A of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by IHOP. Remember what fun tasted like? And is presented for Seafair by 76. Quality Pro Clean Gasolines.
Oh, we just can't wait to bring you live racing action. Here is the rundown for Heat 2A. Acura of Seattle, FormulaBoats.com. That's the number 2 boat. Haas presents Fairweather Masonry. Haas presents American Dream, Miss Car Pros, and Acura of Bellevue. And as we take a look at the course, just this side of 3 minutes, boats are already out there getting warmed up on a lovely morning in Seattle. Here are the drivers who will be laying it on the line in Heat 2A, starting with Jimmy King in the Acura of Seattle boat, the only piston-powered boat today, Mike.
Jimmy King's got the horsepower to do almost anything he wants out on this race course. The question is, can he position himself at the start to be able to have the options?
In the Formula Boat 2.com, that is, Mike Allen has one of those old Bud boats, and those things seem to just be running better and better each day.
They do, and there's no pressure on Mike Allen in this heat because he got a second in the first heat. So he just needs a second or third here, and he'll be fine.
Well, here's the young guy who was so confident after yesterday's win, J.W. Myers, winning in 1B yesterday, Mike.
Getting a little help this morning from Dixon Smith and some of the brain trust from the Miss Budweiser team, too. These guys are dead serious about winning this Chevy Cup.
Bill Rocky, nobody knows how serious they are except you. You're down there next to them.
They're really full of confidence. I just talked to Matt Greggy, one of their crew members. Again, the boat's running good. They like what they see, and they're confident that they can win another heat here.
All right, Bill, here is that American Dream boat. Greg Hopp is at the controls, and he's the guy who's doing double duty today.
Doing double duty, and he's in trouble here. He finished 4th in his first heat, so he's got to be up there in 1st or 2nd. I don't think he's got the boat to do it.
The Miss Car Pros, Chris Bertram is a young driver, and he's just starting to get his pants, his seat wet, if you will, Mike.
He is, but he's learning an awful lot, and he's got an awful good team to be working with, to be learning. The U9 team, Mike Jones, Laurie Jones team, is a veteran organization there, and they're going to teach him what he needs, and there's good communication there.
All right, and we talked about the Acura Bellevue yesterday. J. Michael Kelly, lucky to get that boat on the water, Chip.
J. Michael Kelly's got his hands full here. He finished 5th yesterday, so he really needs a win here, and everything's been going hard for him since last weekend.
Garden, do they have that boat fixed? Do they feel confident?
Yeah, barely. They got out of the blocks a little bit late. Just a couple of minutes ago, they're finally on the water. And I did talk to J. Michael Kelly just a couple of minutes ago, and he said the biggest race today is going to be keeping this boat on the water. We'll find out what happens.
And that Acura Bellevue boat does not have radio communications, we just found out. Here they come, scoring up. Pat, it's a beautiful sight.
It doesn't get any better than this. We've got a rock festival with rooster tails ready to get underway here on Lake Washington. This is going to be a dandy heat. I'm anxious to see how Jimmy King does with his piston engine boat. Everybody kind of still roots for that power plant to win something here.
They do indeed. Ordinarily, the score-up buoy is the entrance pin to the upper turn. It will be the exit pin today, the exit pin. And so they are coming to the score-up position. It looks like Greg Hopp is going to have that inside line in the Todd Haas American Dream. That's the blue and white boat inside. It looks like breaking on through is the Formula.com, and in the third lane, it is going to be J.W. Myers outside. It's the Allison-powered Acura Seattle. They're going to hit the line perfectly. That's the nicest start we've seen so far at the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair, and they rocket down into that first corner, and it is the piston boat and the turbine boat striking each other as they come through that corner, and now we got 4 abreast. That's about as pretty a turn as you'll ever see, Chip Hanauer.
Greg Hopp's doing what he's got to do because he's got to win this heat to have a chance to get in the final, in my opinion, and there he is on the inside right where he needs to be.
But on the far outside, look at the acceleration being demonstrated by that Acura of Seattle. Jimmy King is handling the course. They're all going to catch up to him, though, as they go into that corner. And once again, we have a crowd in turn number 2 at speed as they come around. Everybody holding on to their lanes. Jimmy King on the outside. On the inside, Greg Hopp in the Acura of Bellevue, in the Todd Haas American Dream, the blue boat. And once again, down to the start-finish line they come. 3-4 abreast as they come by, Pat.
And that's that piston-powered, Allison-powered boat that's out in front, the U3 with Jimmy King from Detroit. Chip in your turn.
Mike, it looks like a start all over again. They were lined up perfectly at the start line, just like a start, and that was like first lap.
As you said yesterday, Chip, driving from the outside and keeping the speed and the pace from the outside is difficult at best, but with this Allison boat, he's able to do it. But how is he going to be able to come across and take advantage of these other fellas? He's going to have to do it from the outside on a brute horsepower.
Well, the guy that's got to try the hardest is that blue boat on the inside right there. That's Greg Hopp because he's got to win, and He doesn't have the equipment, but he's got the shorter distance to go. And this is going to be great, Mike.
Meanwhile, the FormulaBoats.com, that's the other red boat there in the center of your screen, is having a heck of a race also. And both the red boats as well as that striped red, white, and blue are just side by side again. And even the 13 boat has come up. Even the Acura Bellevue is getting to the end of the game now.
I tell you, Mike, you can go to a lot of unlimited hydroplane races and not see heat this good. I don't know how many lead changes there's been.
Off the exit pin now, Jimmy King is in second place. It's the Formula.com out front at this point. And Jimmy is not going to let go. He's going to try to draw them clear into this corner. Pat O'Day's going to be horsepower. Turbine versus Allison.
Greg Hobbs dropped back into third, but it's Jimmy King and the U7. Big boats, and they're side by side. Here they come to the exit buoy.
I've got to interrupt you. This boat right there has a one-lap penalty.
Jimmy King knows it, and it doesn't make any difference because he's going to make it physically a first-place finish. Checkered goes to the U3 Acura of Seattle. Jimmy King. The 100 boat also has a penalty on it. He has finished across the line third place, but he is not third place. In fact, it's going to be the white boat. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe a possibility that the Acura Bellevue will do it, and he does.
He nosed him out.
J. Michael Kelly gets it done.
So J. Michael Kelly, they put that boat in the water at the last minute. They've been working on it all night. He grabs the third place, it looks like.
I really didn't see a whole lot that they need to call on. You know, I mean, to me, from where, you know, I sit and I don't see everything, it looked like a really clean four-boat race. So I'm kind of disappointed that there is calls in that.
The official position was a bearing out in the lower corner when all four were together in lap 2, Chip. You know, that's where the penalty occurred, and that's simply a failure to hold a lane.
I saw that. They shoved Jimmy King quite a bit to the outside.
They did do that, yep.
It's too bad because that was a really pretty boat race. And Greg Hopp, you know, he did everything he had to do. He did, you know, Greg Hopp did the best he could. He didn't have the best equipment out there. And when you don't have the best equipment, you got to go up the inside. So as far as Greg Hopp, he did the best he could.
Chip, where it happened is, and it was obscured from your vision, just as they entered the first turn on the second lap, that's when they shoved Jimmy to the outside. Later on, they sorted it out, but that was the point of the infraction, I'm sure.
But I think the real message here, gentlemen, is the fact that that Allison boat ran literally in the 3 and 4 lane the whole way around and beat everybody, every one of the turbines from that position. That's impressive.
There's just a whole bunch of us that wanted to see that happen.
That's true, isn't it?
You know, and the guy that's going to take the most notice of that is Dave Villwock, because this piston-powered boat has been a boat that, you know, it's feast or famine. Sometimes it's just not even in the picture. Okay, here we go, coming into the corner here. Greg Hopp does a great job on the inside, holding his inside lane. But on the outside here, well, you know, frankly, I don't see it. I mean, I don't see the problem because you can see there's a lane right here. So the boat that got wet, he did that to himself. Everything here looks good to me still looks good. Everybody's holding their lane. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
I don't see it either, but that's the direction that the officials had called for down in that corner.
It just looked to me perfect. Everybody out their lane. Let's take another look. Okay, everybody's holding their little lane.
Hop nearly hooks there as he goes past that yellow buoy.
But if you look, there's the buoy. There's the next buoy.
There's a line.
I think he stayed in his lane. I mean, these boats, well, there's some distance
there's a little bit, and that is as close as they get, and apparently that was the call right there.
Well,
I agree with you, Chip. That was just close deck-on-deck racing.
That's racing, and, you know, it's like in any other sport. The officials shouldn't be calling it too close.
All right, guys, let's head down to the pits and find out what the winner thinks. Jimmy King, he's with Gard Swanson.
Rocky, Jimmy, it was a great heat, and he did it on the outside.
Yep. You know, what we tried yesterday didn't work out for us, so we gave it a shot from a different angle, and seems to be working out for the Acura of Seattle.
That was one of those heats where it wasn't over till it was over. I mean, everybody was in it there the whole way.
Oh, yeah. The Formula boats are running real well, but the Cooper family with Acura Seattle behind us this weekend, I think we got something for them this afternoon.
Big news, you got first place, you got the points.
That's the important part. We got the points. It don't count till Sunday afternoon.
Steve, a lot of guys rooting for the Acura of Seattle and that piston engine out here.
All right. And thanks very much, Bill Rocky. My mistake. Going to you. We'll be getting to guard in just a couple of minutes. But it is a great sight to see and to hear a piston-powered boat. But the other thing we've got to get sorted out here is this whole penalty situation, Chip.
Yeah, and I have to say, I don't agree with the call. I think in football, you got to let them play. There's some pushing and shoving. In basketball, there's a little pushing and shoving. And I tell you, I think Greg Hopp did the best job he could.
Mike,
okay, Chip, they straightened out the call. It was not for a bearing out. It appears that the Formula.com struck the entrance pin.
Okay, that makes a lot
so
more sense.
that is the penalty. Not that he caused a problem for one of the other racers on the track, but that he struck a pin, which of course you cannot do.
Because, you know, I would have used that replay that we showed in a class of unlimited hydroplane driving to show that this is how four boats should get through a corner, respect each other, give each other room. So let's straighten it out. Let's go back down to the pits.
Tell me exactly what happened out there. Apparently you got penalized a lap because of a lane change.
Yeah, evidently coming up for the start, the 100 is inside of me. And when you throttle down with these things, the tendency is for the boat to shift out. So he throttled down. I went out with him. And when we came back in to grab our lanes back, that's when they made the call. But we both did it, so I don't know.
Correct call?
I can't say. They were up in a helicopter. From my stance, I don't know.
Pretty tight race, wasn't it?
It was very tight. That was four of us down the back straightaway, deck to deck. A lot of fun, though.
Exciting.
A lot of, yeah, plenty of excitement.
All right, good luck in the rest of the day.
I think, Chip, you've heard that sound in drivers' voices before, that deck-to-deck racing, and let's take a look at it. Look at this coming up to the start.
Well, let's see if we can see what happened here. He said it's a lane change before the start. Everything looks good. See how everybody's lined up nice and straight, so everything looks good there. Everything continues to look good. Everybody's holding their lane. There's a lot of room right here between boats, so I still don't see a problem.
See, this is after the start, though.
I don't
You're coming
see.
out of the first turn.
Okay, here he comes. Now, see right here. See how he's drifting out there? Oh, we just got away from it. But yes, he did start to drift out. It didn't look huge to me, though.
It didn't look huge, but they've been watching this fairly closely across the United States this year, real tight. There's been an awful lot of monetary penalties handed out in the course of this season thus far in 5.5 races, and that's pretty tight officiating, I'd say.
Now, when Mike talks about a monetary penalty versus a lap penalty, what he means by that is official can look at that and say, well, it really didn't influence the race, so I'm going to fine the guy $1,000, for example, but I'm not going to take the race away. If you do something flagrant enough that it impacted another boat's ability to race, then he's going to give you a penalty.
All right, guys. Well, that is live racing here on Sunday morning, and here are the unofficial results. We'll make sure we get the official ones as we get back. But Acura of Seattle, the piston-powered, wins it with FormulaBoats.com as unofficially in second place. Miss Car Pros third. Fairweather Masonry, American.
the drivers.
We're getting close. We are getting close. We are getting close, and the drivers are in their boats. And in fact, now we see boats going into the water for our Heat 1B. But look again at our list. We have an 8-boat field here this weekend. We have 4 of them set to go here in our Heat 1A, presented by Grand Trucking. U1 Miss Home Street. U11 Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&D's. The 99.9 Carstar Powered Miss Rock. And the 1918 Oberto Beef Jerky, Shane Thompson Salmon Fix.
All right, we saw Oberto go out earlier today. They had commissions yesterday. They actually lost a prop off that boat. If you go to the H1 and if you go to the Seafair app, you can see a live onboard video of that. So make sure you go onto the H1 Unlimited app on your phone, along with the Seafair app on your phone to watch a live. You can actually see the clock come off of the back and hit the back there. It's kind of an interesting video.
I saw it yesterday, and I also saw the wave about an hour ago. It looked like a wave in the water, and a shark came up and took a bite out of it.
These props are, I say this before, but these props are very expensive. They're anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 for each one of these props. If you go to some of these colors, you can see 2 different props. Each prop is meant for a gear prop ratio that we were talking about, and these props are different for each single race. Every race has their props. This race, different drivers say it's one of the most roughest waters that they will run all season long.
It always is that way, and it's because of those parallel rollers that come off of the log boom, because the boats go up the backstretch, the waves go against the log boom, and then they come back, and then they're running parallel to the line of travel of the hydroplane, and the sponges fall in. It can be difficult. Then you come down the front straightaway we have right here behind us. If we didn't have that shield behind us, we would be feeling the wind out of what they call the Genesee Gap. And there is a wind tunnel that blows right across the top of the pit area and right into the front chute here as they approach and set up for turn 1. You don't see it on the water, but it is there. So the conditions on the front straightaway are very different than they are on the back straightaway. It gets rougher up at the north end because of that thing we call floating bridge up there. This is probably the easiest corner that they've got down here at the south end of the race course, but that's the one they have to go in 4 wide. So it is a very treacherous race course. It's a difficult one for the teams to set their boats up for. But they're the best in the business. That's why they're here. That's why they race at the unlimited level.
And that is why they test all day long. You saw a lot of boats going out testing Friday and Saturday because they're checking out to see exactly what they need to do for their gear box prop ratio. And we are just getting so excited, and I'm excited that we're going to be having the first race of the 2018 Albert Lee Seafair. We're going to be heading these H1 by unlimited hydroplanes out on the water. You're going to see speeds of over 200 miles per hour.
Okay, I'm going to try and run and get rid of that umbrella. What umbrella? Oh, yeah, that one that's blocking lane 1, 2, and 3. That blue one? Yeah, I'm sure to take it down. So, is their signal going back to the end? It will, once I cut it up, yeah. I mean,
Okay, I can fire up.
Yeah. I might as well tell them that today we'll just give you the play-by-play feed on. So, Dave,
Once again, while we're getting ready for the start, make sure you grab your phones and go onto the H1 Unlimited. Also, go onto the Seafair and download their app. This will give you all of the future schedule for the weekend, gives you the weather, gives you our traffic reports. That is the Seafair app on your phone, along with the H1 Unlimited Tiger Queen app. That is where you can see some live onboard camera footage. It is so much fun to watch. And like I said, yesterday, unfortunately, Alberta lost its ball, and there is a great onboard camera view of that. So while we're waiting for the start of Heat 1A, make sure you grab that app on the H1 Unlimited. Also, look for the Seafair app.
That's not good, Don. My last one. If I have to change it out for a silver bullet, what do you think? Right? I know exactly where I'm going.
Hopefully they'll tell everybody not to take off there. That's right, this is a family show.
I mean, they're like, don't even bring up that word.
I wonder if Gary had any, if Brad had any luck. Umbrella moved. It looks like it's still up. I don't think they moved it.
Still up. Still up, Bradley.
Probably told her no. Take a short drive off of the long pier.
Did they tell you no? What? Did they tell you no?
No. Oh, I said when the boats hit the water. This is Alberta.
I didn't 55 feet by
You were a really sharp young lady. You figured it out. You would have offered.
Oh, you're wrong here, Mike.
Yes, I did. Oh my goodness.
Plus, you also know me in my chatterbox is probably going to be $55.
Thank them publicly. Stand by.
Stand by.
Okay,
But when we did the second name start with you guys, the start procedure, it was like, what did they do? A what? And then what? And then the flag was up.
You're going to read this the pot down. It starts as soon as you hear it because it's too loud.
Then you get 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what are we waiting for?
When to come out?
When did it come up? We're already come out. See that umbrella? If the wind comes up anymore, you won't have to worry about them taking it down. Mother Nature will take it down for you.
Integrate yourself.
Yeah.
See how far you go.
Right.
Maybe it'll jump off there and go onto one of the boats.
Okay,
what we want to do, once we get to 5 and 5, we get into it. We want to walk through the start procedure.
No, we're not.
Walk through the start procedure. We have all these procedures.
4, 3, 2, 1. Mark 5 to the 5.
Yay! 10 minutes.
Okay, for our second time here, we are inside 5 minutes to the 5-minute gun. Or
Gary
just add those together. We're inside 10 minutes. But Jay Brewer, this is what I know you and I have waited for all day long. This is the big boats. These are the world's fastest race boats. And as many boat races as we have had here on this glorious Ted Jones race course, there are still people here today that are still wondering what is all of the fuss about and what really is going to happen. So I think together, you and I ought to kind of walk through this start sequence. And we've started that start sequence now. We do a countdown. Everything is on the clock. We do a countdown from 10 minutes all the way down to 0. And in 9 minutes and 10 seconds, we hope to have 4 of the fastest race boats in the world on the starting line, approaching about 160, 165 miles an hour, just as the clock strikes 0 and heading on to that first corner. But a lot has to happen before we get to that point. The boats can't come out on the race course until the 5-minute mark.
Correct. So we are at 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So they got 3 minutes You're going to start seeing all of the crew members are going to start jumping off of the boats. We're going to get these drivers ready to head out onto the water. They are strapped in. The drivers are going to drop the lid. At that point, the drivers are going to go ahead and start the ignition and head out onto the course. All drivers must go out of the pits and hang to the right. Then they must go around turn 2, and we call it what it is, and also scoring up. They'll go down the backstretch. Then they must come across the start finish line.
So they will do that in the 4 minutes preceding the 1 minute gun. And that is called the milling period. Now, the boats can cut the race course during that time. And remember, as we've been saying all day, these boats do not have assigned lanes to run in. They fight for their lane. And there are rules about that. You can't cut in front of somebody. You have to give them a certain amount of overlap. If we need to get into the detail, it's 5 boat lengths during the first 4 minutes of the 5 minute period. It's 7 boat lengths when you get to the 1 minute period.
Which is basically a rooster tail if you're trying to figure out how they figure that out when they're out on the course.
So there are rules to all of that. Now the boats can cut across the race course. They can cut from the back stretch to the front stretch at the top end of the race course, meaning up toward the north, up toward the floating bridge turn, and then down here in the bottom half of the race course toward the south end, the boats can cut from the front stretch to the back stretch. Then, once they reach the entrance buoy of the north turn, before they come down to the start, whichever lane they are in at that time, that is the lane they must hold all the way to the start-finish line, and at that point, standard overlap rules apply. 7 boat lengths, or to your point, a full rooster tail, and the officials always tell them, it's 7 boat lengths. Make sure you've got 8 or 9, because nobody wants to have to cut it close.
Exactly. We do have officials out onto the course. These officials are watching very carefully. If you notice, we have 2 helicopters up in the sky. Those are our eyes in the sky as well. Those are officials that are watching it from the overhead. It is a much easier view. They're videotaping as well up there. So those videos will be on the H1 site and the Seafair site later. But we got eyes in the sky, we got eyes in the water, we got eyes on the beach to make sure that those 7 boat length overlap rule does apply more.
You're exactly right. Coming up on 1 minute, 30 seconds to the 5 minute mark. So some of this sounds a little bit confusing if you've never seen it before. We'll walk you through it this first time. Once you've seen it, it's not as difficult as it looks. It'll all make sense when you see it. Now, I've got to give a little bit of a shout out here to my friends down there on the Oberto Beef Jerky trailer. You have the big umbrella up in the air. Oberto folks down there, thank you very much for dropping the umbrella. We can now see lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4 up at the top end of the course. Thank you, Oberto, for pulling down that bumper chute. Much appreciated. So, we're inside 1 to the 5.
We are so close to watching these boats just line up and turbines and head out onto the water. Iron Scotted, Brad, are you?
You know I am 45 seconds away. Buckle up, Seattle. Our love affair with Ace 1 Unlimited Hyperplane Racing is about to begin.
All right, race guys, you get ready because we're going to bring out the first race of H1 Unlimited Hyperplane Racing. We are less than 30 seconds to get 5 minutes ago.
Coming up on 25 seconds. We've got some swimmers in the water, folks. If you can help us out down here and up along the shoreline. If you have swimmers in the water, we cannot run. If they are in the water, if you can help us out, come back upon shore. That is for their safety as well as it is an insurance rule. Inside the countdown to the 5 minute mark.
5 minutes. All right, here we go.
All right, that's your 5 minute time, and now it's time to go.
$10 can help fund powerful ads to reach undecided voters nationwide. $10 can help open field offices.
In that bright yellow, reliable diamond tools, AC combo, number 11, the 99.9 Hard Star, powered by KISW Rocket, the young gun rookie Aaron Salmon, in the 1918 infielder, Calvin. Speaker Days, Hourly Appliance, proud sponsor of the Hourly Appliance Speaker Hub. The start of H1A is just a few minutes away. Speaker reminds you that for your safety and the safety of those around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydroplanes are on the Ted Jones race course. Now it's time to get ready on the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boat. Heat 1A presented by Seafair and Grand Truckee. Now, let's do the play-by-play, Brad Luce.
Thank you very much, Dave Brewer. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to our start. As I say that, Aaron Salmon comes around the point that we so affectionately referred to 30, 40, 50 years ago. Quillshaft Lagoon. That was when we ran the Merlin Power. And now it's Turbine Power. All 4 of our Turbine Power hydroplanes are on the water. Shane, Thompson, Salmon, and Phipps. Now comes the race before the race. And I make this comment a lot, as we talked about earlier. This is Heat 1A. You can win the Alberta Alliance from Seafair. Now, right now in this heat, you can certainly lose it. You don't want to do something stupid now. You want to get points.
Exactly. Why you're saying that is because they have to have a certain amount of points to make it into the final. As soon as we watching tomorrow after Heat 10A, we are watching Heat 1A as Jimmy Shane goes into turn number 1 with that baby blue brand new straight code.
Yeah, we talked about you don't want to do something stupid here. You just want to get points. But that blue boat halfway up the backstretch, Jimmy Shane wants to win this. He is in a battle with Andrew Tate for national high points. He's got a big gap to make up. He needs to win every time he is on the water. So our boats are spread out right now. Here's our first course cutter. Jimmy Shane coming across the race course. You notice, Dave, he's coming across from the back stretch to the front stretch, but he did that up at the top end of the race course in the legal maneuver.
Exactly, and these, if you watched our qualifying earlier and our testing earlier, you would have seen us do that same move. They were out there making their game plans, and we are going to see Tom Thompson follow right behind him in that reliable tool of St. at the number U11. And check out what Cal Fitz is doing in that Alberto. He might be taking a little bit of a different game plan. These guys are going for game plan number 1. And you and I were talking about it earlier. Everybody's game plan of game plan A was taking laps for lane 1. Who do you think is going to get it, Matt?
We're about to find out here. Even Aaron Salmon gets into the mix a little bit. He will cut the race course at the top end. So far, nobody's gone all the way up to the north turn. The exception, I think Shane's going to go all the way up there this time. 150 to the start. No score on buoy here, so that they don't have to worry about staying behind the buoy at a particular time. However, the boats must maintain at minimum 80 miles an hour on the race course. There are strobe lights right above the top of the air scoop. If that light comes on, look at the 2 boats cut the course now to come in behind Jimmy Shane. Look for Shane to park the blue boat in lane number 1. 120 and counting, Dave.
Look what Cal Fitz is coming on hot on the outside, so he might try and take over that lead, but he must go all the way around and he must get that 7 boat lane before he comes over and tries to take left on lane number 1. But that boat is beautiful. Right in there. Tom Thompson stuck in the middle. He might get quick.
1 minute, and unfortunately the boat in a bad position right now is Aaron Salmon. As we're inside 1 minute, he is way up the backstretch and he is having to slow way down. And we've lost the 11 now. Tom Thompson has fallen off a plane down here in the lower corner.
He got hosed down. He was stuck in between Shane and Cal, and he got hosed down, put out the fire. We saw it last weekend on the final heat, but he was able to get it started. You can see he's still coming out of that. He's trying to get it lit up and get back up. He has still 30 seconds to light that thing up and bring it around. Right now, he's not in the best position sitting in lap. He's in lane at least 3 out there in the first turn. Not the place you want to be.
Yeah, he needs to get out of there or they may red flag this heat, but he's not up and running now. He needs to be on a plane and get out of that corner. Meanwhile, we're 15 seconds to the start. Sam's going to be on the outside. It is going to be Cal Fitz in 2. It is going to be Shane in 1. And we are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, we are racing here in Heat 1A, presented by Grand Truckee, and it's going to be Cal Fitz in the 1918 Alberto. He's heading down to the corner first, but he's got a lot of speed up to his left with Jimmy Shane.
And he's floating it in the side of that lane, and look at who's coming out in the lead. It's going to be the home street boat, but I would not let go of that Alberto. They've had some issues.
He's down. He is down, the Alberto.
They had issues earlier, but it looks like he's going to have some more issues. Those gremlins are fighting over that Alberto, and Home Street looks to be walking away with the lead. But things could happen because look at Cal lighting him up and heading back out onto the water. But coming out of turn number 2 is going to be your baby blue Home Street boat.
Here comes Jimmy Shane off the top of the race course. This one is all his right now. He's just got to find clean water He's got Nick Bonaccini talking to him on the radio, telling him what's going on the race course and where he's going to get his best line through here. But he's got to keep the candle lit because Eric Salmon is coming down in second place. I don't see Salmon making a run at it, but still Shane's got to run 2 more laps. Lower corner, lap number 2, Kane.
It is, and Aaron Salmon is our 2018 rookie driver. It's only his 3rd race, but he's doing wonderful at 99.9. And we've got number 3 is going to be Cal Simpson, Nino Berto. Just over to guess it was a good start. Down the back stretch, it's going to be the one of the home street boat, Jimmy Shane, coming into turn number 2, Brad.
Top end of the race for Jimmy Shane. Now our 2 boats that right now, the Oberto in the 11. The Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&B. They are both up and running, and I think they are both on the same lap. And so I think we've got the Reliable Diamond Tool trying to run down the Oberto, but it's going to be a tall order. Meanwhile, here comes Jimmy Shane. Put 2 in the book. The starter was good. He'll pick up a white flag. That means 1 more to go. And this is going to be an easy feat of Odyssey. If you're going to get one here at the 2018 Albert Lee Appliance Cup at Seafair, Jimmy's just got to keep the candle lit, okay?
He does, and it's the brand new boat hot out of the box. First heat ever being ran by the H1, or the H1 of the home street boat. This is their first time. In the second place, it's going to be Aaron Salmon. And in third place, Daniel Murdoch. He got 5th and in 4th. Forgot Reliable Tool. They are trying to chase down Cal Pitts. Only got about 3/4 of a lap, and your leader going down into turn number 2 for the last time of Heat 1A in the home street track.
Jimmy Shane, top end of the race course. He is to the apex. He is to the exit pin. Slides out to about lane number 2. And he will come down and take first place. He'll pick up 400 points here. Mission on this heat, get a win, get 400. Check the box. Mission has been accomplished. The boat now wins its first heat of competition. Second place appears to go to Aaron Salmon. He picks up a checkered flag. We got to look at the flags a little bit. And it appears that we are getting a checkered flag also for the Oberto. He will come down, and the checkered flag is remaining for Tom Thompson. So it looks like, despite boats going off plane, going dead in the water, getting too early up the backstretch, we're going to have 4 boats start getting it down and 4 boats finish.
It was a good run for the home street. You know, they wanted that first win. It's like I said, this is their first actual physical running heat with that brand new boat, and that was a great heat that he had. We're going to have to watch some of these first to see exactly what happened to Tom Thompson before the race to see if there was any. So like you said, we're going to check the box, Brad. What that means is all of these boats have basically like a black box.
I'm hearing a radio.
That will gauge how much fuel they use. We'll see whenever these boats come back onto the dock, you're going to see a person jump on the dock, they're going to grab that box.
Two-way radio.
At that point, they'll check out and make sure that they don't have any what we call fuel violations.
And
they get disqualified for that.
And they also check the wind too.
And the N2 violations. Two different violations that you don't want to see any of these boats.
Two-way radio.
So, once again, just to go through the line, I think we have our heat winner is home street boat of H1. And in second place at 99 points, Sunshine Firestar. In third place, Josie Alberto 19.9. And in fourth place, Tom Thompson with Reliable Diamond Tool J&B.
All right, they'll find their way back to the pit area. Aaron Salmon's going to come back. He's got to feel pretty good about that because he picked up a solid second place finish. He was very early on the start, but he was able to apparently, and everything is unofficial at this point, but apparently was able to parlay at least 2 his second place finish based on the unfortunate circumstances that he showed in 11 and the 1918. So a lot to sort out when the boats come back. I am not sure what happened to Calvin, but it was a good thing to see him pick it back up and go. I'm saying 4. Now, not until 4 started, 4 finished. We'll wait until the results are official. But what we've got unofficially is first place. The Jimmy Shane driving the Miss Home Street. That is boat number U1. Second place, Aaron Salmon to the 99.9 Carstar powered Miss Rock, driven by Aaron Salmon. Second place, it'll be a minute. So third place will go to Cal Pitts.
Okay.
I've got it. Oberto Turkey at a fourth place finish for Tom Thompson, driving the U11 Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&D. And there are going to be some questions about this one. There is already some conversation taking place. So everything will remain as is on the water, and the officials will take a look at some footage. So it's unofficial right now, but there are some questions being raised. There's a little bit of grousing on the radio, so we'll let them take care of that, and then they'll advise us what they want to do and how the official results are going to be.
At this time, Brad's going to get his stopwatch and Sandy Danny stopwatch ready because we got one more heat to go today. We've got heat 1B heading out onto the water here shortly. Some of our drivers are already in the water ready to go. They are getting strapped into these boats at a 5-point harness, and they've also got an oxygen tank they must that they work through there, and then they also do have their radio communication at this point. This is where they will check to make sure everything is right on cue.
All right. You got to be here, so they're going to go first. Yeah, that's fine. Just jump right in. Like that, screening.
Stand by for the countdown. Stand by for the countdown.
And we are ready for a countdown here for our Heat 1B. We're going to 5 Graham Trucking.
There we go. Now it's back up.
Thank you.
4, 3, 2, 1, 5 to the 5.
We'll get 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay, how about we do this? Let's get it for a real quick second here, Gary.
So we are inside 5 minutes to the 5-minute gun for our Heat 1B presented again live. So let's go through the lineup that we've got. We have our second fastest qualifier in this one, the U9, our current national high point leader, the Les Schwab Tire, driven by young Andrew Tate out of Walled Lake, Michigan. He's going to be joined in Heat 1B by the U12, the bright red boat, the Graham Trucking, driven by J. Michael Kelly. Kelly was our 4th fastest qualifier this weekend. Joining the field is going to be the Darrell Strong presents Payne West Insurance, the U21, driven by Brian Perkins, and they have picked up an additional sponsor that we'd like to take a moment to mention here. Greg Warda and the Guild Mortgage Company has stepped up to help these folks, so they've got a little added incentive to run a little better here in our Heat 1B. That's the U21, and then rounding out our field, the bright orange 440 bucket list racing Dustin Eccles. It is Tate, it is Kelly, it is Perkins, and Eccles. And Kay started to allude to it when we were talking about the first heat, and we were talking about you just want to finish, which everybody did, and get
Minutes before we leave the dock?
Yes, we do. Nobody leaves the dock until the 5-minute mark. There are occasions when they will let the drivers leave prior to that. This is not one of them, so the boats must stay here through the entire period and come out at the 5 minutes.
I don't know, I'm getting serious. Do you know what these drivers are doing in the cockpit of these boats right now?
Well, yeah, I know I would be pretty sorry. But that's why I hold the microphone and they hold the steering wheel. So looking at our boats, they are all in the water. The only one that got wet in front of us, I got 2 of them. I couldn't see the 21 there, the Darrell Strong, presents Payne West Insurance. Good people Brian Perkins is right on the other side of J. Michael Kelly, but we've got those 2 boats on this side. Tate is at the top of the pin area behind the truck, and we've got the bucket list racing on the west side. Coming up on 20 seconds to the 5-minute mark.
You're going to see the lids are going to start dropping, and that's when the crews are going to jump off the boat, go over off of the dock. Pretty soon, we're going to see these boats.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 minutes.
Take me and Erica.
Once again, folks, that's your 5-minute gun, and now it's time to go racing. Here is the will be Heat 1B, presented by Seafair and Graham Trucking. In the number 9, your high-point leader, Andrew Tate, is the Les Schwab Tire. In that bright red boat, Graham Trucking, ready. Michael Kelly. In the 21, Payne West Insurance, Brian Perkins. In that bright orange, the bucket list racing 440, Dustin Eccles. Seafair is a Hourly Appliance proud sponsor of the Hourly Appliance Fever Fest. The start of Heat 1B is just underway in a few minutes. Seafair reminds you that for your safety and the safety around you, everyone must get out of the water while the high schools are on the 10-zone race course. Now, it's time to get out of the water and enjoy some of the world's fastest race boats as we go on to Heat 1B presented by Seafair Ground Company, Brad Lou.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. We're 3 minutes and 50 seconds from the start of our Heat 1B presented by Graham Cooking. All four of our race boats are out on the water. And I'm hoping we get a little bit better start sequence than we did on the last one, Kay. That one, as you know, that was one that we called kind of ragged.
It was, but there were some issues over here at turn number 2. These drivers are all doing their maneuvers, and we're seeing an early cut-in. It looks to be like Brian Perkins, first one to cut across the course.
Yeah, Brian comes from front to back. That's the first time we've seen that. These are all those timing runs we talked about this morning and over the weekend. They want to be at a certain spot on the race course at a certain point in time. That doesn't mean just 15 seconds before the start. Oh, yeah, they want to do that. But they've also got a 2-minute mark, a 3-minute mark, and that 3-minute mark is where they want to be in about 4 seconds, because we're coming up to 3 minutes right now marked.
3 minutes to the start of Heat 1B. It's going to be interesting because we've got a couple fast boats out there. J. Michael Kelly is only his second race of the year, but he's trying to chase down points from Andrew Tate, your current leader in national high points. Brian Perkins, they were having some issues. They had some boat problems last year, some boat damage. Got it fixed, brought it back out here for Seafair 2018.
And everybody cut the north end of the race course off that time. Keep an eye on Kelly here. He would have, if he wanted to jump to the backstretch right now, he'd have an opportunity. Yeah, there he goes. He's going to jump over there and get in front of everybody. Well, you could see that one coming. Everybody was going to the lower corner. Now, we've still got a long way to go. We're 2:20 till the start.
There is a lot of things that are going to happen between there. We talked about lead changes, but this is what you call the race before the race. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. We are 2 minutes away from the start of Heat 1B.
Yeah, they're going to have to go all the way up to the top end of the race course. It's going to be tough to get the lane swap right now. 2 minutes. 2 minutes to the start of our Heat 1B presented by Graham Trucking for Seafair.
And coming around turn number 2, and that bright orange 440 going to lead them back up their front stretch. And it looks like J. Michael Kelly taking his signature move over lane number 1.
Yeah, he's going to come down here in lane number 1. Still got a lot of time here. There's 1:35 until the start. So I really like their position right now. But I believe the two white coats, it's difficult for me to pick it on back, but I believe that is Brian Perkins that is coming down here. It is. It's Perkins that is right next to J. Michael Kelly. And so they're going to come all the way down, which means if Perkins is going to stay tight on the hip of JMK, that is going to put Mr. Tate in lane 3, because we know it's going to be on far outside. Which means Tater's going to have a round this weekend. 1 minute to be our at 1 minute, and the boats will start up the backstretch. It is Kelly in 1. It is Perkins in 2. We are going to assume that Tate will squeeze the U9 into lane number 3. I don't think Perkins is going to leave the door open and allow Tate to get into lane 2, and I'm sure Kelly is not going to let Tater into lane 1.
No, he's known for taking lane number 1, but we know Andrew Tate, he's hot to try. He is your leader, but Andrew Tate, coming back from the back of the pack, I have a feeling we have a game plan going on, because look at the 3 boats in the lead. I'm not sure where he thinks he's going to squeeze in there.
Oh, he's going to get into lane 3. There's going to be room there. But the guys ahead of him are early. There's still 20 seconds. And so he's going to sit back there and slingshot it now. Look at the rooster tail come up on the 9. Andrew Tate is able to put his foot down before the other guys because he's further away from the starting line. We're 10 seconds until the start. Going to be a good-looking 4-boat start coming down. We are 5, 3, 2, 1. Mark, and we are racing here in Heat 1B, presented by Graham Trucking, and it's going to be Brian Perkins getting out here. He's got Tate right with him, and on the inside, it's J. Michael Kelly driving at 12. The Graham Trucking Tate.
I don't know, J. Michael Kelly may not have much room, but here he comes. He's going to be your leader out of turn number 1. There is a great fight in that second place position. You can't see it behind the rooster tail of your leader, J. Michael Kelly, the Graham Trucking. First and second race. First place, J. Michael Kelly. Bring them around turn number 2 because I can't see them. Over 200 miles an hour. They're going into turn number 2, Brad.
It was a good start. In second place on the outside. That is the 9. That is the Les Schwab with Andrew Tate. Perkins has fallen back a little bit. There's Tate. He is on the outside. It's Kelly the leader. As they come off the top end of the race course, they'll put down 1 point in the book. It is J. Michael Kelly in 1. It is Andrew Tate. And they are literally tied together. Tate started to fly them out. And the police went down. This is as good as it gets. Kelly's staying there here first. Tate is 2 moments back.
These two have been driving side by side for quite a few years, and we know J. Michael Kelly's able to hold on that inside lane. But Andrew Tate, as you said, was floating down the backstretch, and he lost a lot of ground. I'm not sure what happened behind the rooster tail of J. Michael Kelly, turn number 2. But look at J. Michael Kelly just walking away with the lead, going into turn number 2, Brad.
Yeah, this is not over. Don't you count out Andrew Tate just yet. But JMK, holy cow, they came out here and ran really hard this morning. It was indicative of a very good boat ride in some rough water. Here comes JMK. He's going to come down. Look to his right. He'll see the white flag. 1 to go. And he's got a rooster tail on Andrew Tate. Now watch Kelly fly the boat. He loves to put a lot of air under it. And he's got it right now. JMK is in control. So the experts going over. Got almost a rooster tail and a half.
All over Andrew Tate, and like you said, he looked over and saw that white flag as well and said, I got 1 lap to get J. Michael Kelly, and he's going to bring it down. It looks like Andrew Tate seems to be having a turn number 2 issues once again. He is not floating it like he did down the front stretch. But J. Michael Kelly, he is roaring down that back stretch. He's only got a half a lap to go. The checkered flag will come out, and that big grin of J. Michael Kelly is about ready to shine.
Entrance spin at the top end of the race course. There's the apex buoy. All he's got to do is come off the exit pin right there. Slide down to about lane number 2. He will come down. Checkered flag flies. J. Michael Kelly. He will come down and claim first place in our Heat 1B. Sponsored by Graham Trucking. And the folks from Graham Trucking and the sponsors tent over here to our right go crazy. I wouldn't have guessed he would have been able to walk away from Andrew like that, but he did. Here comes Brian Perkins. He was in the thick of it for a few laps, or at least 1 lap, and then on the second lap he began to fade, but Perkins will come around and pick up 3rd place in the 21. Darryl Strong presents Kane West Insurance and bring Dustin Eccles around again. The kid is going to be consistent. He's going to pick up points and finish. We said how critical that was.
It is, and you know, I talked to Dustin Eccles earlier, and he said, you are Boat of the Year, voted in by H1 and by all of the peers. This is your 440 Boat of the Year 2017. Each year they're getting faster and faster, but my goodness, Heat 1B, that was a nail biter, Brad.
I just want to ask the question of the fans here that have maybe not seen this before. That first Heat was not representative of how H1 Unlimited Racing is supposed to go. That's much more. When a race is supposed to look like it, oh, by the way, how important is the inside lane?
It is very important, and like I said, it's a J. Michael Kelly signature move to race on the inside lane. Shortest way around the course, and here's your example of how a good start and a good race. Check out the Graham Trucking boys. They are shaking their hands, and here comes that beautiful Graham Trucking 12.
And it was all due to the timing marks when JFK, with about 2.5 or 3 minutes to go, was coming down the front straightaway. Everybody was down here in the lower corner, and I said if he wanted to jump front to back, he could plant himself in lane 1. He did it. His radio man said go. He did. He got it. And I don't know that he could have driven around Andrew Tate had he been able to. He also played it very conservatively at the start. He did not break the clock. That would have been Brian Perkins who broke the clock. He was on the line. If I break the clock, we mean the first guy across the start-finish line and a legal starter. JMK was back with it. We didn't even see him coming down the front straightaway. But when they turned to one down the back chute, you got it. It was all red.
It was beautiful sight for that Graham Trucking. And we are so appreciative of Graham Trucking Racing for all the sponsorship and everything they do for Seeker. And look at the crowd is getting excited as J. Michael Kelly comes out and gives a big wave to the bleachers.
Well, that team, as you mentioned at the beginning, this is only their second race of the season. Their first was a week ago over in Tri-City, and it did not go well.
No.
Actually, at the very, very end of the day, they wound up third on the podium. But the way they got there was not by being terribly dominant of the competition. So they did get there. They did have a very good weekend in the end. end, but I know they came here with a lot to prove, and they have a long, long way to go. But that was a big step.
That was a great race by J. Michael Kelly versus Andrew Tate, two amazing veteran drivers. And, you know, big thumbs up to you, Graham Trucking. That was a great job, J. Michael Kelly.
And if we look on the dock there, I don't know if we'll see it, but figuratively, if not in reality, watch for Jimmy Shane to walk over there and say, oh, by the way, thank you. You just helped me with another 100 points in the national high point standing, because he was able to knock off Andrew Tate. Tate got 300 points. Jimmy Shane got 400.
And that 100 points at the end of the year can make a difference, because wasn't there that's how close they were between Andrew Tate and Jimmy Shane last year?
It was like 232. I have 40 points between first and second. And at that last race in San Diego, Andrew Tate made a mistake. He cut through the DMZ. He won't got 0 points. If he would have taken a third place finish, we would have had a different outcome. But we didn't, and that's why we go race. We would have never figured maybe that Aaron Salmon and the 99.9 Carstar powered Miss Rock would have been our second place finisher. He won, anybody wins. And that's why you've got to go out and run. But J. Michael Kelly just sent a message up and down pit road. We're here. We're here to race.
Exactly. So, like we said, there's more racing tomorrow. Make sure you go onto your phones and download the Seafair app. Don't forget to also download the H1 Unlimited hydroplane application. That is where you can find the point standings. That's where you can also find out our up-and-coming schedule for tomorrow. But don't go too far, because once again, we've got a lot more racing tomorrow. We're going to bring the Vinci back out. We've got the F1 West Coast. We've got the Jace Talks back out again. If you missed that earlier, make sure you come back to watch the Jace Talks. And of course, we're going to have our H1. We have more heat racing tomorrow, but tomorrow afternoon, we have all the finals.
We do indeed, Kay, and I just pulled out the schedule for tomorrow, Sunday. But glancing back first to the Saturday program, Heat 1B, we just ran, where J. Michael Kelly was victorious. That is the last item on our schedule for today. So that concludes the program here at the 2018 Albert Lee Appliance Cup at Seafair. Now we turn a glance towards tomorrow morning. Folks, our gates will open at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will have activity on the water at 8:30. We will start with H1 Unlimited Hydroplane testing. So the boats that you just saw run, they will be on the water testing at 8:30. At 9:35, we will have another exhibition of our vintage hydroplanes. Our Grand Prix World hydroplanes will go testing at 9:55. We'll have at 10 o'clock the wakeboard experience, courtesy of Hyperlight in South Turn. And then at 10:40, we will have Heat 3 of our West Coast F1 tunnel boat. So we will start right out of the gate with testing and racing from all three of our classes of boats that we've got here. It'll be a big day. For those of us that are curious, Kay, and I'm one of those from way back in the day, Sunday is race day.
It is, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We saw a lot of side-by-side racing because the F1 is this afternoon. You know, your boy Fairchild versus Matt versus Tyler. But Tyler, if you remember, came in early on that last heat, so we're going to have to go find out what happened for him and see if he'll be back on the course tomorrow.
We will indeed, and I mentioned they're going to run their heat tomorrow morning. Heat 3, they're going to run it at 10:40. Then at 11:10, H1 Unlimited Heat 2A, 11:25, H1 Unlimited Heat 2B. So before noon tomorrow, every class we've got is going to be on the water, and they're going to be racing. Don't be late tomorrow morning. It is race day.
I was going to say, you better be here early.
All right, so that is going to do it. For those of us here up on the tower, we've had a long day. You've had a long day. Thank you. Those who are still with us, thank you. Those who stuck around and came here all day. I think it was a beautiful day, representative of the Pacific Northwest. It was day 2 of 3 at the 2018 Albert Lee Appliance Cup at Seafair. My name is Brad Luce. I want to thank Kay Brewer for all her work, and certainly Kim Porcel, our producer. She is the one standing to my right, or sitting to my right. She is the one that makes Kay and I look good, and that was a full-time job that keeps us straight. Jim, I've got to, what time you need the drivers for a draw? I don't know what, Jim, I'm sorry. Either that or you're trying to tell me what time chapel service is in the morning. Ouch. Ouch. That one's got to leave a mark, Jim. So anyway, I'd like thank Kay Brewer for all her help. This is the first guy I have ever called.
Metro presents A Tale of Two Wireless Customers.